YMCA, Norm Mcdonald, and Albert Einstein are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is October 17th, 2022. It is the 290th day of the year. There's 75 days left in 2022. It is your 42nd Monday in your 42nd week and the 26th day of fall. You got 65 days left until winter. It is still like 85 degrees here when I'm recording this on Friday the 14th, 2022. I don't know what's going on in Portland, but we're still having summer weather. Weird. Today is National Edge Day. National Edge Day on October 17th promotes a movement of youth refraining from using alcohol, tobacco, and other recreational drugs. As part of the straight edge movement, teens and young adults pledge to live clean lifestyles. Today also encourages the support of those who choose to live a straight edge life. So when I grew up in Los Angeles, as a kid, 8th grade through high school, I was kind of into the punk rock scene of Los Angeles. And I experienced a bunch of these kids that were straight edge. You associate punk rock or any type of new music with troublemakers and all that, but there was a big group of these kids that just loved the music. They did everything we did. They just didn't drink or anything like that. In a way, at the time, I thought it was weird, and as I got older, I don't know if I admired them, but I respected what they were doing. And it's not like they were all into any sort of religion or anything like that. They just chose not to do it. Good for them. All right, let's see what else October 17th has given us. 1777, the American Revolutionary War. British General John Burgoyne surrenders his army at Saratoga, New York. 1781, the American Revolutionary War again. British General Charles Earl Cornwallis surrenders at the Siege of Yorktown. Rough couple of years for the British generals, huh? 1814, 8 people die in the London beer flood. Yes, this is your deep dive, and it is exactly what it sounds like. A beer flood killed people. This happened in the afternoon hours of October 17th, 1814, at a place called the Horseshoe Brewery. The Horseshoe Brewery was in a part of London that was where you went when you were destitute and maybe homeless, an alcoholic. It wasn't the upper crust of society here. So around 4 o'clock on October 17th, 1814, a 22-foot high wooden fermentation tank started to have some problems. The fermentation wasn't going the way it was planned, and the tank started to buckle. Eventually, one of the iron rings that surrounded the wooden tank finally gave way. Well, this caused the tank to explode. It was under pressure, so it was a literal explosion. This tank held about 3,500 barrels of beer. Well, that explosion caused a chain reaction, and all the barrels that were similar in size exploded as well. It's estimated that over 300,000 gallons of beer filled the brewery and eventually burst through a wall. This caused a flash flood that was about 15 feet high, filled with beer and debris, and it just rushed down the street. It busted through a wall at a neighboring pub, which instantly killed a girl that was doing dishes. The wall exploded on her, and they figured killed her instantly. Well, the flood made its way down the street and into another building and into the basement where they were having an Irish wake. Some people in the basement drowned in beer. Several other people had to scramble out of their basement apartments or risk drowning as well. There was a lot of other injuries, and rescue attempts were hampered by people trying to collect the beer. Remember when I said this was filled with a bunch of people that were down on their luck and alcoholics and things like that? Well, they picked up anything they could find, and they got in the way of any rescue attempt trying to collect as much beer as they could. There are stories of alcoholics laying face down in the street, just slurping up the beer. They say that entire part of town smelt like stale beer for months. Eventually, the Horseshoe Brewery was taken to court where they were found not guilty. As the judge put it, it was an act of God. And of course, everyone thinks that the judge was paid off. It eventually became obvious that someone was getting paid off because the brewery was allowed to continue operation untaxed to help them make up for the beer that they had lost. Yeah, that wasn't corruption at all. 1933, Albert Einstein flees Nazi Germany and moves to the United States. 1941, World War II, the USS Kearney becomes the first U.S. Navy vessel to be torpedoed by a U-boat. 1979, Mother Teresa is awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. 1989, the 6.9 magnitude Loma Prieta earthquake shakes the San Francisco Bay Area and Central Coast, killing 63 people. I was at Fort Ord, Monterey when this happened, and yeah, it was a serious shaking. I've been through a lot of earthquakes in my life. That one was one of the harshest I'd ever been in. The Northridge earthquake in Los Angeles was pretty bad too. Released on October 17th, 1978, YMCA. Yes, remember that song? That horrible song that got stuck in everyone's head and it was everywhere by the Village People? Yeah, it came out on this day in 1978. This was an American disco recording by the Village People. The song peaked at the number 2 position on the Billboard's Hot 100 chart shortly after its release. In 2020, the song was entered into the Grammy Hall of Fame and also was selected for preservation by the Library of Congress. I am shocked that it only got to number 2. I was young when this happened, and I remember it being everywhere. The Village People were everywhere. Jokes were made about them. They were on every show. Yeah, it was weird. Born on October 17th, 1959, the late, great Norm Mcdonald. We talked about him on the day he died. He was a stand-up comedian and Saturday Night Live cast member from 1993 to 1998, who anchored the Weekend Update. He appeared in numerous Adam Sandler movies, including Billy Madison and Grown Ups. He hosted the sports show with Norm Macdonald on Comedy Central in 2011. He began his career performing at local comedy clubs in Ottawa. He later started his career in entertaining by writing for the show Roseanne. Now, we already talked about this. And we also talked about how if you're a stand-up comedian or you appreciate stand-up comedy, you know he was one of the funniest people that ever walked the earth. A lot of people don't get what he was doing, and it was dry humor, it was weird, and it's a skill that he had. Normal people that just watch stand-up comedy, they usually don't get him. His stand-up comedy was more like performance art type stuff. Died on October 17th, 2019, we lost Elijah Cummings, U.S. Democratic politician who was known for being the House Oversight and Reform Committee chair. As a representative for Maryland's 7th Congressional District, he gained further attention as the voice in Congress seeking 10 years of Donald Trump's financial records. After attending Baltimore City College, he went to Howard University, where he earned a BA in political science. He then went on to attend the University of Maryland School of Law, where he earned his JD in 1976. After practicing law for several years, he was first elected to the House during the 1996 elections. Elijah Cummings died on October 17, 2019 at Johns Hopkins Hospital at the age of 68 from complications concerning long-standing health challenges. That's what his spokesperson said. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a productive day, and be nice to each other.